Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to take a look at a Fender 1957 reissue heavy relic. That's all the goodness of Fender. I think these are made actually better than the original. The neck pockets, if you can see in there, are really tight, all made CNC. The back is all beat up. The neck is they call it a soft V, but it's like a boat neck. It's pretty big. Not as big as my Warmouth, but pretty close. This does not belong to me. This actually belongs to a friend of mine, Al. And these are very expensive. I mean, this is like, to me, where you start getting into a really good Strat. Feels kind of like my Warmouth. It's got the bigger frets. They're not stainless, which, as you know, I probably have a problem with. So, by the regular appointments, this is basically how the guitar would have come in '57. Except it would have had a few different things here. So the '57 is going to have a 7 1/4 radius. This has a 9 1/2, which I believe is playable. 7 1/4 to me, I think is just, it's like a foreign instrument, and it's really not conducive to playing for my taste. The other thing that this has is it has a 5-way, which Fender didn't really start till, I believe, '77. So it's a nice touch. It's basically like a mixture of the modern appointments put on the '50s instrument. It's 21 fret. I'm doing a setup on it. I have to put, he wants 8s on it. Right now it has 9s. And even with 9s right now, it's a little high off the neck. Has a real nice sound. Has a nice sound, feel, great feel to it. I love these things. I think they're fun guitars to play. Now, I've seen so many people to talk about relic guitars versus brand new guitars. And there's a whole debate on it. And so I'll voice my opinion on it. Not that you care. Not that I care. They feel great. It feels to me like a worn-in pair of shoes, which is nice when it's an instrument to pick up and make it feel like it's worn in and all the right things are there. So in that respect, I really love the instruments like this. I feel like in the new condition, you have the heavy, gloss neck. That doesn't feel great. The wear, even though it's phony wear, like they sat and manufactured this guitar to have these wear marks and everything else here, and it has it, and then of course the frets are perfect, and all of it's worn. It's worn where your arm is here, but it has a nice feel. The guitars vibrate nicely, which of course again is something that I like the way that feels. But if you took this guitar and you compared it to the '57 NOS, New Old Stock, or the '57 Closet Classic, the tone is going to be identical. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much paint you have on there, how much paint came off, how much more it vibrates with the paint off. The feel of it is what's going to change. The actual, what's coming out of the output jack is the same. In that respect, and some people are like, I want to put my own history on the guitar, and I don't like relics. Who cares? So don't buy one. If you like it, buy it. I can tell you right now, I ran a shop that sold, God, we had like 50 or 60 in stock at a time. We sold an ass load. We sold so many that were relics. People loved it. Not everybody did. So what? Who cares? I get a kick out of that. People think like, it's like their opinion. It's like, just like my opinion. I like the way it feels better on the relic instrument than a brand new. Obviously, one of my Warmouth Strat, the yellow one that you see me playing, there's no finish. It's a gun oil finish on the neck, and I love that. And I already put a ding on the back by by accident, but whatever. That's just going to happen, and that guitar is going to get beat up eventually by me playing it. But that doesn't take away the fact that this instrument was beat up on purpose, out of the factory, brand new, to be sold like this, to have a certain feel and look. And John Mayer plays that Black Relic. He did that himself at Fender. There's a look to it. It's nice. It feels good. Like I said, it feels like a worn-in, like a baseball glove. Just imagine if you got to go out and you're gonna go play in a World Series game and somebody hands you two gloves. One's brand new that was worn in and really beat up, so that feels nice into your hand, and the other one's brand new, all stiff. I mean, it's gonna be, it's gonna be whichever one you like the feel of, right? I mean, I think the common thing would be to pick up the one that feels like it's been nicely worn in. But some people have a problem with the fact that it's like, it just looks like it's beat up, but it's really not, so what? Who cares? You know what I say is play what you like. If I saw a guy playing this guitar on stage, I'd be like, badass, that's probably a 57 reissue. Because I can tell by the appointments and the logo and everything else what year it would be. Somebody recently asked me about, they had a reissue Strat, and he says it's a 62, he took the pickups out, yada yada yada. Long story short, he can't find the pickups that sound good. He bought a couple of different versions of 62s and they're not right. And I looked at the guitar for, literally a second. I said, well, that's a 65 or late 64, but I can't imagine. At least I didn't remember that Fender did a late 64, so I'm like, it's a 65, and I think it was from the 90s, and turns out it was right. It had the transition logo. It had the screw in the right place on the 11 screw pick guard. And if it was a 62, the screw's in the wrong place. It's the one that's above this here is like moved over here on the 11 screw. From 59 to, I think it's mid 63 when they finally moved it over. But anyways, people that know what they're doing can look at one of these guitars and see, what it's a reissue from, because Fender does a really good job of really trying to exact it to the spec of the original instrument. Hey, let's take a listen to how these pickups sound. So this is the bridge. We have the position 4 or position 2, depending on who you ask. If you ask me, I call that 4. We have position 3. Position 2 or position 4, again, depending on who you ask. And position 1. So position 1 for me is in the neck. Fender calls this position 5, but Fender's ass backwards. Why do I say that? Well, they call this a synchronized tremolo, as seen here on the headstock. And yet it is a synchronized vibrato. Vibrato is pitch. Tremolo is volume. When you look at an amplifier that says vibrato on it from the Fenders, those are actually tremolo. So they had it backwards. Hey, he's not perfect, but that's what happened. And I think they also misnamed all these, because I wouldn't call this 5, I'd call this 1, and I'd call the bridge 5, but whatever. On this channel, we call the bridge position 5. And so this, I feel like this is a really good instrument for the money. I mean, it's a lot of money. I think these are like $3,500 in that range, anywhere from $3,000 to like $3,500 to $3,600 for like a 56 or a 57 reissue, which is a lot of money. And, you know, some people may or may not like the heavy relicking. Whatever. Whatever you like. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, don't buy it. Again, if this were my instrument, I probably would have swapped the pickups. I'm setting this up for a friend of mine, so. But it's a very nice feeling instrument. It's got the vintage tuners. I mean, it's basically everything like pretty exact to how a a Strat is in '57. They do a really good job. Very retentive about it. It's got a nice weight to it. Not too light, not too heavy. Feels good. I like the way this guitar feels. Yeah, I mean, what can I say about it? It's great. Now, I would recommend these over the USA stuff, again, if you can afford it. So I have 3 USA American Deluxe Vs, all of which have had fret jobs with stainless steel frets, jumbos put in, all new electronics, put an extra string tree on there. So needless to say, they've all had work. And then I have my Warmouth Strat, my yellow one that you've seen me play. And then I have a Gary Kramer Strat, the Crusader prototype. And that one probably that's right now, well, it's stock except for the pickups. But eventually I'm going to have to do something about that neck. It's very thin. And when I have to get frets on it, I'm going to decide if I'm going to throw a Warmouth neck on it or what. But we'll see what happens with that guitar. And then I have my 3 tellies. I have my Rubber Relic telly. I have my B-Bender Fender telly that I put a Warmouth neck on. And I have a G&L ASAT Custom Classic. And I love them all. I mean, I'm so happy with the instruments that I have. And I also feel like when I walk into a store, I can't like pick a guitar off the wall like any Fender and be like, oh, I love it. Because I don't. I don't like the smaller necks. I don't like the frets. I don't know what kind of fret wire they use, but it doesn't feel good to me. It feels soft, and I ain't having it. In fact, when I got my other Strats, I literally had it for a day, and I'm like, yeah, this is going right to my guy. And I took it up to this guy in the valley. So yeah, I mean, it was, Fender does make some good stuff. I don't want to sit. I just think they missed the mark on so many things because they make like so many different Strats. And you don't need to. You need to. They should have cut the line down. Like, I mean, I could make the line 10 to 15 production wide. Change up a bunch of the colors for them, and then you'd put them in a store and make sure they have all the parts and everything on the wall so they can get it like a car dealership. I want that pickup, that pick guard, boom, get me out of here, and I can go do a gig. I think it's a mistake. A lot of these stores are now trying to be like online, and it's like, and also the whole non-negotiating thing. It's like, listen, I ran a shop, so and I'm telling you, 5 Strats can come in on the wall. And I'm not picking on Fender. 5 Gibsons, 5 anything can come in on the wall, and those 5 guitars are gonna feel different, play different, have a different quality to them, even though they're all the same model. It's hard then not to sit there and discount the one that's not that great, or at least the one that you feel is not that great, to somebody who wants to make a deal. Get it out and rotate your inventory. If a guy feels like it feels good for him and he wants to get a deal on it and he can go do something and tweak it and do it himself, let him do it. But then there's those guitars that come in that just have mojo. It's like the pickup sound incredible, and you're like, oh, this guitar is awesome. Yeah, sell it at the price. Sell it at the MAP. For those that don't know what MAP is, it's a minimum advertised price. It's what they now sometimes refer to as street price, because the actual manufacturer's suggested retail doesn't mean shit, except for the fact that it tells you what the person buying it's buying it for, and usually it's at a mark of 50, or sometimes you can get 50, 20, and 10. I mean, you can get all different kinds of deals, but for the most part, your average guy is getting it for 50. So that's all the manufacturer's retail is good for. It's not good for anything else. But like I said, I think these stores are making a big mistake. The guy who bought this guitar bought it from a store in the Midwest somewhere, and he hemmed and hawed with the guy. I just think that these places need to make better deals. Not everything's a winner. And I remember when this guitar came in, it played horribly. And I gave it a setup, it played great. I mean, any guitar can be changed to play great. But it's like, hey, you don't want to do it at your store and take the time? Make a deal. I just think that they're making a mistake. I think when you go online and you look at it and it's like, everybody's gotten to this point of like no one's making deals. And you know what I say? You don't want to make a deal? Don't make a deal. I just bought my guitar and put it together from Warmouth parts. The only business that got from me was my buddy that put it together, and me in Warmouth. There's no store, no middle guy, no salesman. I don't have to listen to anyone's bullshit. But that's how the stores are. So I tell you, recently I went to a store. When I say recently, I meant like within the last year or so. And there was a clinic going on in the store from one of the guitar manufacturers. Now, I'm not going to say what it was, but whatever. And they're basically telling everybody in the store who's watching this clinic how to bypass the store and buy from the manufacturer's website. And I was horrified. I was like, if I worked at this, and I even asked somebody at the store, was like, how are you guys even letting this go on? Forget it. You don't deserve the business of these people because you're letting somebody come in and just steal it from you. I think it's ridiculous. I think what's going on in the retail world is insane. And it's easily fixable from the manufacturer's point of view, but whatever. That's a different story for a different day. Listen, I'll be back again soon with some more lessons, and we'll be going over lots of more music, talking guitars, having fun. And hopefully I'll have another guitar to show you. I like when my friends drop their guitars off for me to set up, because then I can just show it to you guys. So, with that being said, I hope you're liking all the videos. If there's something you want to see, please comment. Please like and subscribe. And I will see you on the Flism Flasm. Very good.